Hi and welcome to another game video. And well, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I bought some PSPs recently. I'm a big fan of the PlayStation Vita, and Sony does make great handhelds. The PSP might have been far more commercially successful than the PS Vita, but I prefer the Vita. Not because it's specs, I mean it's a newer console. It's not because it's more powerful, etc. But we will just run through the specs of both of them. So the PSP was released in 2004, with the Vita being released in 2011. The PSP only had a 333 megahertz processor, whereas the Vita, don't know the clock speed, but it had a quad-core ARM A9 processor, 32 meg RAM, 64 in later models of the PSP, with a whopping 512 meg RAM in the Vita, with 128 meg of video RAM. 5-inch touchscreen, HD screen on the Vita versus this 4.3 non-touch, non-HD screen on the PSP. Wi-Fi, well, they both had Wi-Fi, but the PSP is stuck with 11B, whereas you've got B, G and N on the Vita, and you've got Bluetooth on both. That's about it. Then the Vita starts to stretch away from the PSP. You've got twin sticks on the Vita, only one on a PSP. The Vita's got a camera, it's got touchscreen, it's got rear pad, it's got 6-axis. It's vastly more powerful and got far more in it. But the PSP sold 80 million units and the Vita only sold between 10 and 15. So the Vita didn't do very well. It's not, I'm going to briefly touch on this because everybody talks about it. It entered the market at the wrong time. Mobile gaming was coming along. The Vita was very expensive. Games were very expensive. Accessories were very expensive. And it was just the wrong time to do it. People had phones, they could play games on their phones without going out and buying a very expensive dedicated handheld gaming device. The PSP was decent spec for its time, a portable PS2, but the Vita was absolutely amazing. Even now, it's just an absolute powerhouse. It's so underrated, it's so underappreciated. Even today, the games and the console look amazing. Sony needs to make a Vita 2. There were talks of Sony making a PSP 2. That really kind of just shoves the Vita out of the way, because technically that's what the Vita is, a PSP 2. But they are talking of getting into the handheld market. Lots of rumours on that. The Vita is fantastic. I really can't praise it enough. It's probably, I mean, I love my Switch Lite, but the Vita is so underrated and so powerful, and it's got about 1,700 games, and there are some absolute gems on this console. I'm going to run through some of my favourites that I play. You've got things like Borderlands 2, Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified, FIFA 15, the God of War collection, Hotline Miami, Lego Jurassic World, Little Big Planet, Killzone Mercenaries, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Rayman Legends, Resistance Burning Skies, Retro City Rampage DX, Shakedown Hawaii, Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed, Uncharted Golden Abyss, Velocity 2X, Wipeout 2048. Those are some insane games. They look stunning. Even now, sort of 12, 13 years after the Vita was launched, you cannot fault these games, and you cannot fault the console. I've got a Vita Slim, and it is absolutely gorgeous to look at. It's super comfortable. It's just, Sony really needed to market it better, and learn from some of the mistakes from the PSP, but they didn't. They went in super high priced. Oh, this is a premium console, and it didn't do it any favors. If you've got a Vita, you can mod it, you can run custom games on it, ports, you can play PSP games on it, you can run emulated games on it. One of my favourite games that's been ported across from, well, it's the Android version, is GTA Chinatown Wars, and it plays and feels and is just stunning on the Vita. So the PSP was okay. I mean, technically it outsold it nearly sort of 7 times, but I much prefer the Vita. It's just, it's the Vita is better than the PSP, and not just because it is more powerful. Everything about the Vita is just better than the PSP. And yeah, I mean, what else can you say? It doesn't use clunky UMDs like the PSP does. It went a card route. Games load quick. You've got your touch screen. You've got this gorgeous HD screen. You've got far more power, far more graphics capabilities. That the actual feel of the console is more comfortable. You've got your twin sticks. The Vita is fantastic, and I think it's much better than the PSP. That's my opinion. Link, like, subscribe, enjoy.